Hello, everybody, and welcome to Simply Sassos Real Estate 101. Today, I am here with Tony Tate. He is the founder of Currency Cadets and operates its hands-on as the Chief Blockchain Asset Analyst. In this role, he currently assists more than 300 cadets by equipping them to become smarter investors into this emergent industry by making currencies make sense. Tony, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm extremely interested about cryptocurrency and how it relates to real estate.
Sure.
So tell me a little bit about cryptocurrency and how you came about doing this.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I also own another company. It's a digital marketing agency, and it's called Premier Strategy Partners. And what we've done with that company, I guess maybe 8-9 years ago, a lot of my website developers and a lot of my Google analysts that did a lot of stuff like that, a lot of them were in India, some were in Korea, some were in Germany, and they wanted to be compensated with Bitcoin as opposed to being paid with the U.S. dollar. Because a lot of times, they were having issues with PayPal and not wanting to convert their currency to their thing or whatever. And so, like, listen, man, we want to be paid in Bitcoin. So back then, all right, sure, no problem. So we started doing it. And then what we understood is that actually started allowing some of these guys, they wanted to move to America, the proper way, obviously going through the things. Right. They wanted to get work visas and apply for citizenship that way. And so what happened is that as the price of Bitcoin began to rise, going from at that time a little less than $100 to now well over 10,000. I think it's currently traded right now at about 10,800. You can imagine, you have a couple hundred Bitcoin, back then to now, that's a considerable amount of money. So they're buying homes, they're becoming part of the community, they're paying their taxes, they're just want to contribute, and they're being over here in America. So as that started to happen, I started to implement this with regular businesses, because obviously one of the things that's with cryptocurrency, and we can talk about that later, is that there's no wire fraud. You don't have to worry about that. All the transactions are one way. It's no different than getting a wire today in your account, and then the next day, it'll say pending that you got it, but then the next day it'll say, oh, okay, here it is. You have to have access to that money. Same thing with cryptocurrency, whether it's Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, a few others. It really depends on the medium of exchange to whether your Bitcoin is coming in. You decide to sell it to your bank. You have Bitcoin today. Guess what? It's in your checking account tomorrow. So it's not like if you liquidate, securities or stocks and bonds, you have to wait 7 to 10 days or whatever. You sell your Bitcoin today, you have your cash tomorrow. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
Okay.
So that's made it a lot of fun.
So it's the efficiency of Bitcoin that's the most attractive aspect of it?
I think so. I think that, and just the efficacy of not having to deal with the central banking system. Because listen, don't get me wrong. I love JP Morgan Chase. I love Citibank. I love a lot of those guys, the top 10 companies that make up the whole Forex market. There's some big players as well as Merrill Lynch, Bank of America. That $3 ATM fee that you get when you're using a non-bank ATM, man, that pie gets sliced a lot of ways, man. And if you multiply that transaction, a couple million times over every single day. So all those players that make up the central banking system, they get a piece of it. It shouldn't take 8 business days if somebody wants to send you some money from Germany to here or from Australia to here. With Bitcoin, it happens in a matter of minutes, It's just that simple.
Okay. So being that my focus is real estate.
Absolutely.
And this fascinates me. And I'm sure this is a rabbit hole that we could go very deep into.
Yes.
But in terms of a buyer approaching a seller with a Bitcoin opportunity to purchase a home, I'm trying to think how that would even start. So in my mind of old school mind of where's your proof of funds, where's your pre-approval and things like that, where would Bitcoin fall into that?
Sure, Bitcoin in a situation like that where, somebody wants to present an offer and it's a crypto offer, essentially is a cash offer more or less. If somebody wanted to sell the house for let's say $500,000 and I had 50 Bitcoin, I wanted to purchase that home, I could get my transaction agent and say, hey, listen, I want you to make an offer on that home and tell that seller I will give him 50 Bitcoin or the $500,000 that they want, the U.S. equivalent, whatever, because the price fluctuates slightly. So whatever they want, but I'll give him the money for that home. Basically they say, okay, cool, we'll take the 50 Bitcoin or $500,000, whatever. They have that written into the contract, the comment section or whatever. I make that offer and they say, okay, well, we need to verify that this is legitimate. no problem. There are a few different exchanges that can hold this money that has like at least, first of all, you want to make sure that 60 days of seasoning is there. So whether it's the Gemini exchange or the Coinbase exchange or a few other exchanges that prove that this guy's had this money there. Now you got to be really careful because a lot of this falls into the KYC, your know your customer and your AML, anti-money laundering situation. So you want to make sure that isn't an exchange that they've done their due diligence. Like they get a picture of the person. It's just like if you were to go to buy a car. All they require when you go to buy a car is your driver's license, right? Then they run and make sure your driver's license is okay before they title it. Same difference. With these exchanges, okay, not only do they want to see my driver's license, they want to see me write on a piece of paper the date, hold my driver's license with that paper, and they want to see via webcam. And they want to make sure that the person that's presenting the license, the facial recognition, all of that super encryption, because it's cryptocurrency, they want to make sure that all of that, passes the muster. Like there are a couple times in my life where I was victimized. Somebody tried to steal my banking information from the bank. They got caught, and it would never happen. But I wish that my bank actually required my face to match up with my ID,
right.
And the day, so they go through all of these things and they secure it on like 6 different levels. And then, because Gemini Exchange, for example, that's the one that I use the most,
okay.
right? And I can help you with your listeners as far as that's concerned. But the Gemini Exchange is the regulated exchange. It's been around for about 6 years. The Winklevoss twins, the guys that helped create Facebook, that kind of got shut out of the party. They started that exchange, and it's been a regulated exchange by the SEC. They followed all their P's and Q's, and that is the one. And there's 2 others that when an underwriter for a title insurance company is looking at that documentation, like, okay, cool, we're familiar with that exchange. They're good to go. They're an American citizen, or they're from one of the 33 countries that's okay to buy. To sell to an international buyer.
Right.
They're good to go. They're not on any kind of terror watch list. They're all right, we're good to go, and all this is legit. So we can verify who they are. And the transaction, it's just like title work. It's all part of the process.
Okay, so from the title side of things then, because fraud is one of the biggest concerns.
Oh, absolutely.
So they have to be excited about this.
They're super excited about this. Number one, I think the number one thing, because there's a list of them, everybody's got their own little different things, but I think the thing that title companies are most excited about is the fact that there's no fraud involved. Because, see, there have been issues in the past where maybe a buyer or a seller's email address has gotten phished, P-H-I-S-H, phished, and they want to say, you need to send us your banking information and wire the money here, there, whatever, and when that wire is sent, it's gone, Under certain circumstances, can you only reverse a wire? But for the most part, when that wire is gone, it's gone.
Right.
Whereas crypto is when somebody's doing a Bitcoin transaction, you got a 15-minute window, or you can do a little bit later. No sensitive information is transmitted. No email addresses, no, third grade teacher's name, none of those things. They're just sending money from one QR code to another QR code, or a spelled out alphanumeric address anywhere from 34 to 63 characters that is case sensitive, and that money gets transmitted, and it's there in a matter of moments once it's been confirmed on the blockchain. Now, the blockchain is another way of saying it is a public ledger,
right,
for everybody to see.
Okay, so like I said, lots of questions, Tony. Lots of questions.
Let them rip, man.
It's one of those things where I'm like, I don't even know where to start. So I know a lot of listeners are going to say, wow, so we've determined it's safer.
Absolutely.
It's quicker.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does someone become more knowledgeable on how to do something like this?
Well, I have a certification program for real estate brokerages, real estate agents in general can attend a workshop, or I have a certification process with certain title companies, and I'll review the title company or the brokerage to kind of see, what's going on and how much, where they are, because there's also a component. I got to see how long they've been in business and things like that, how that stuff works. And then we go about the process of educating them and certifying them to be able to use this process, because there's some basics that we just absolutely have to cover so they understand what they're doing, because there's a lot of, Florida is just a high market. It's a hot market. A lot of international people, listen, they love that mouse, right?
Right.
They want to get here to see that mouse.
Oh, yeah.
They want to live near the mouse, right? They want to have that vacation home. So we want to make sure that these people understand exactly what's going on, and then I can educate them through the process, whether that is on a one-on-one basis as a consultancy, or whether they can take a workshop that we put on. We have a really good relationship right now with Magnolia Closing Company, and so any real estate agent that's looking to do any types of transactions with cryptocurrency absolutely need to check out Magnolia Closing Company here in the Orlando area. They kind of have Orange County, Osceola County, Lake County kind of on lock, but for the most part, they're a trusted partner because they get the process all the way from the assistant closers to everybody. I mean, that whole office, those ladies are amazing, and so what we do is we walk them through, and we're also here. We're a phone call away to make sure that they understand exactly what needs to go. Whether it's a buyer that wants to buy a property with Bitcoin, but the seller's like, just give me my cash, man.
Right.
Or it's a seller that says, listen, I would like to get my proceeds in Bitcoin, even though they're paying cash. Just give me my disbursement in that. So obviously we make sure that we don't violate the Florida Administration Code, OFAC, FinCEN, or anything like that. Use the good funds principle all the way around. And we make sure that everybody gets a settlement the way that they want to, even though no matter where cryptocurrency is involved in the transaction.
Okay, so new agent, new broker getting involved with this, even old agent like myself, or
seasoned agent.
Yeah, seasoned agent broker. Someone like Magnolia can be our advocate as we learn more about this.
Absolutely,
and walk through it.
And sometimes we have fun events, like we'll have like a coffee and crypto, or crypto and cocktails, just to kind of get there, talk a little bit, and people can just ask questions. It's really more of a sharing of information, man, because listen, cryptocurrency isn't going anywhere. I feel like traditional banking and central banks, they have, they went through their 5 stages of grief. They tried to debunk it. They tried to say that it was only for money launderers and nerd money or internet gambling or, ne'er-do-wells, right, that are out there in the dark web doing different things. And I've always replied, well, you know what else those guys do? They use cash. You gonna stop using cash? No. It's just, most people, I bet if I were to ask you right now, and obviously don't say it on air, but if you were to have to figure out exactly how much money you have in maybe one of your checking accounts to the penny, you would not believe how many people cannot tell you that accurately. Because they don't use cash as much anymore. Everything is digital, whether it's their debit card, whether it's Venmo, whether it's PayPal, whether it's Zelle Pay. Most of that stuff is digital, so they don't touch the money anymore. And cryptocurrency is just a more secure way of doing exactly that without everybody in the middle trying to get a piece.
Right. Okay.
In the central banking system.
And I'm glad you said that it's not going anywhere, because
No,
I truly believe it's not going anywhere.
It's 10 years
like,
strong.
Yeah, it's not like a fad thing or anything like that for sure. Do you have any, in terms of year-to-year growth, how this is expanding?
Sure. The very first Bitcoin was mined and traded at 1 cent January the 3rd, 2009. Today, Bitcoin as a currency is where, and there's more aspects. There's a technical side to it, because we can talk about smart contracts and things like that, because that's going to be coming. Where, and I'm going to put a pin there, but to answer your question directly, so you go from 1 cent value in January the 3rd of 2009 to $10,850 right now at this moment. And that's just over 10 years. So in 10 years, it has been over $1 million. $100 back then, right now, would be worth a little bit over $72 million if you bought $100. Basically, if you bought 10,000. So you multiply 10,000 times 10,000, there you go. That's exactly how much the return would be then. So it's not too late, because Bitcoin is going to continue to grow. It is an anti-inflationary product, meaning there's a finite amount of it. So once it's gone, it's gone. And that also has something to do with an event every 4 years called a halvening, where the amount of rewards of Bitcoin that can be achieved by Bitcoin mining. And mining is just a process of verifying transactions. You do that almost like gamification. You get rewards. When you have these specialized computers whose job is to go out there and verify transactions by way of solving some very complicated mathematical problems. And that's how Bitcoin is created. So you're never gonna, the last Bitcoin to be mined, even fractionally, will be in the year 2140, based on the algorithm. And you can't inflate it. You can't print more Bitcoin to drive, to do anything like that, not like you do with the US dollar, or currencies. You just can't print more of it and just float it out there in circulation. So there's never gonna be an adjustment for that has to be a hard adjustment by any type of a reserve organization or anything like that, because cryptocurrency is money for the people. It is decentralized. It is peer-to-peer. All you need is a transmitter and a recipient.
Okay. So, and to the listeners, it's so important when you're serious about investing and you're serious about whether it be real estate or whatever, the key is not to do what everyone's doing after they've already done it. The key is to understand what you have available now and how to get on the crest of that wave and ride that wave. And Bitcoin is definitely that. And Bitcoin involved in real estate is definitely that. And what I was always taught was be the dumbest person in the room. So surround yourself with people like Tony and like Magnolia in terms of educating yourself, learning more about Bitcoin and how you can leverage that in your purchases, investments, whatever, and then execute.
Right.
So I guess that would be my piece to the people out there. Tony, like I said, I could go on forever about this, but
I love it. I'm right there with you, brother. I'm all in with
Part
you.
two.
We can do a part two.
How can people get more information from you? How can they find out more about you and what you do?
Sure. They can simply go to currencycadets.com. They can find us there. They can go to currencycadets.com/FAQs for the FAQs. If they're shy, they don't want to, we're on Instagram. We're on YouTube. Look for Currency Cadets. We do a lot. I'll almost add anyone to the Facebook group because it's kind of a lot of free information and things like that. They can decide what level they want to participate in. Currency Cadets on Facebook. They can like the page, and then from the page they can ask to be admitted into the group. We're on Instagram. Anywhere like that, man. That's how they can find us, and we're just going to be out here educating people, helping them get going.
Okay. Well, you got the information. I will definitely link up with you as well on my website and social media also.
Oh, thank you.
So we can definitely spread the word there. I think this is an amazing thing. I think it's something that if you don't have the education on it, you need to get the education on it so you can leverage it and one more bullet in your investment arsenal. So,
Sure.
Tony, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Rob. I appreciate it.
My
man.
pleasure. You're welcome back anytime. I definitely want to learn more about it.
Man, bring me back anytime. Your office is very close to that Krispy Kreme down the road. So if that red light is on, then it is on. I am doing the Krispy Kreme.
We'll definitely coordinate our schedule with that red light.
For sure.
Thanks again. Again, Rob Sassos, Simply Sassos. This ends our episode. Please check us out on YouTube and simplicityre.com as well. Once again, Tony, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.